Hi, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much to Reverend Chico for inviting me to share with you this morning. And to all the families who are observing Hatsubon, my deepest condolences on your recent. Are you sure? So thank you very much for being here to honor your loved ones today. Obon is truly a special time to remember and to celebrate our continuing relationships and our connection to our loved ones who've passed on, and to all who've come before us, who have enabled us to live and to be here in the present. While summer in Hawaii is a time for enjoying mango and lychee, we also look forward to the Obon season with its colorful lanterns, the rhythmic beat of taiko drums, and the ono food. Obon is one of our most important celebrations, and it is truly a gathering of joyful memory. However, this year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we will not be able to celebrate Obon in the traditional way. When we began this year, I don't think any of us imagined how challenging and life-changing things would become. We've had to quickly let go of our hopes for a smooth journey this year, as this pandemic and the civil unrest that we face as a nation remind us that there is an imbalance in nature and within our society. As we face these challenges, we've had to reflect on whether only positive outcomes in life are ever guaranteed. Shakyamuni Buddha taught that all things in life are impermanent, that each of us and all things in the universe are subject to constant change. So, good fortune and misfortune are simply part of our lives, which will come and go. This is the important lesson of impermanence that we should understand, that both the good and the bad times of our lives will not remain forever. That there is always light in the darkness, and that there is hope for transformation and change. So how do we find courage and strength to face our many challenges? Well, we can turn to the Dharma for guidance. And we can also remember our loved ones. The simple act of remembrance, of remembering those that have gone before, allows us the opportunity to reflect on and to enrich our lives here in the present. In our tradition, memorial services are truly meant for the living, for each of us. It's a time for us to remember and to express our deepest appreciation for our loved ones who have passed on. And by remembering their lives and the lessons that they taught us, we can live this life, our present lives, with greater meaning, greater richness, greater comfort. Obon, as Bobby shared, comes from the Ulumbala Sutra, right? And the word Obon is the shortened form of the word Urabon-e, right? Which means to suffer as if being hung upside down. And the sutra tells us of the story of Moggallana, or Mokkuden, one of Shakyamuni Buddha's great disciples, and how he suffered over the death of his mother, and how he felt a deep sense of regret and sorrow, right? He believed that her devotion, right, to him had been a barrier to her understanding and to practicing the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. However, the Buddha counseled Moggallana by asking him to reflect deeply upon this, and he came to realize that his mother's devotion to him was based on an unselfish love. And with this profound insight into his mother's life, Moggallana danced with joy as his regret and his sorrow were transformed into appreciation and gratitude. Obon reminds us of the great web of life, that our lives are made possible by countless causes and conditions that we should be grateful for. We are also reminded that we have a responsibility to create a meaningful life for future generations. While Obon is a festival of joyful memory, it is also a reminder that we are links between the past and the future. Obon teaches us that how we live in this present life, in this moment, is the best way of honoring those that have come before. Obon is truly a joyful gathering in which both the living and the dead rejoice in the universal embrace of the Buddha's compassion. While our dancing is a physical act of remembrance for our loved ones, we also dance for ourselves. When we awaken to the timeless working of the Dharma in our lives, we can do nothing else but to express our profound gratitude and joy. This is why we dance. This is why we come year after year to celebrate Obon. We realize our loved ones have become one with timeless reality, become one with enlightenment, and they continue to embrace us each and every day as personal Buddhas. Right? Our loved ones never truly leave us, right? They live on forever within our hearts, right? Within our minds. In Buddhism, we are taught that death should not be feared, for it is the ultimate truth of our existence. That all things are impermanent. Even the death of Shakyamuni Buddha underscores this basic truth that we in all things in this world, are subject to constant change. The Buddha taught us about the truths of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and how we can live without fear or worry. The Buddha intended that through his teachings, we would understand our impermanent nature of our existence and ultimately experience freedom from our suffering. Death provides an opportunity to appreciate and to celebrate true and real life. This is an opportunity for us to remember our loved ones and to hear the Dharma. Next Saturday, we will have a full moon. The moon reminds us that the true Buddha is enlightenment itself. And the essence of enlightenment does not change despite what we may see. People call one phase of the moon the full moon, the quarter moon, half moon, crescent moon. But in reality, the moon is still perfectly round, right? Never waxing nor waning. Buddha is precisely like the moon. In the eyes of humans, Buddha may seem to change in appearance, but in truth, the Buddha does not change. And so we believe when someone dies, right, they become one with the Buddha. They become one in enlightenment, in this timeless working of the universe. And so while their physical form may pass from this world, the true essence of our loved one continues to live on forever in enlightenment. While not physically present, our relationship continues on. And it is this relationship that is healing. In seminary, I read a book called Bringing Zen Home, The Healing Heart of Japanese Women Rituals, written by Paula Arai, in which I encountered a wonderful story of remembrance and healing. Arai illustrates how our personal Buddhas can become intimate healers along the journey of grief. by sharing this following story. She says this: each time Honda-san comes back to her studio apartment, I notice she calls out, "I'm home, tadaima." She's engaging in a common Japanese family greeting, reserved for those coming in and out of the home. Honda-san, however, lives alone. She's addressing the photos of her parents on her homemade bureau-top Buddhist altar. They passed away more than 3 decades earlier, yet they're still her family. Her heart hears their response: "Your return home is welcomed. Okaeri-na-san." Honda-san has transformed the ubiquitous household greeting ritual into a healing ritual. With each greeting into the empty apartment, she knows she is not alone. Arai goes on to explain how this simple ritual enables her, Honda-san, to experience her interrelatedness on a daily basis. It is also a part of what helped her change her perspectives on life and how she does not feel alone. I encountered a similar story illustrating the healing power of memory in the movie Before Midnight. It's kind of an old movie, but it stars Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke. And there's a scene in the movie where they're talking with some friends over lunch. One of their friends is an older woman who talks about her late husband and how over time she finds herself forgetting details of their life together. And so she shares with the group how she makes a determined effort to remember him every single day. That the act of remembering, that in the act of remembering, she can hold on to her husband. Some small detail, some funny occurrence, some story that we all share, right, with our loved ones. Those stories are where they live. Those stories are what nourishes our lives in the present. This is why Hatsubon is such an important time of remembrance and gratitude. Our lives are made possible by these gifts of air and water and sunshine, yet we hardly give any thought to them, right? And even less, we show gratitude to them. The Buddha's boundless compassion permeates not only our life, but also our death. Right? The Dharma holds us all together. It permeates the seen and the unseen universes. It courses through both our living and our dying. Life and death are manifestations of the total working of the universe. And Buddhism teaches us to appreciate the fullness of life with all of its challenges and all of its joys for whatever time we may have. In the end, right, it's not how long we live that matters most, but how well we have lived. How well we have lived each unrepeatable moment of this life, this present life. That's what the Dharma is teaching us. To savor each moment and to live life to the fullest without regrets. Thank you again for inviting me to share Hatsubon with you. It's a privilege to be here and to share this special time with each of you. You know, while Hatsubon is an important observance, it's just one moment in a lifelong journey with grief that will change over time. We grieve because we love, and we love because we're human. The pain of loss reminds us of our love and keeps our hearts open. And within our grief, we discover that love is greater than time and place, and even greater than death. It is in this love that transforms our sorrow into appreciation and gratitude. It is this love which continues to nourish our lives and support us throughout our lives. And so, as you take time to remember your loved one today, reflect on how your journey has been since their passing into enlightenment. These services are truly meant for us. They're a time for us to reflect and to renew our relationship with our departed loved ones and each other through hearing the Dharma. Obon is a time to celebrate the enduring love of family, which, like the circle in which we dance around the Yagoda, has no beginning or end. Our loved ones never truly leave us, right? They live on forever within our hearts, within our minds. May the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha embrace and comfort you always. Mahalo.
Thank you, Reverend Higa. I was just joking about TV.